And welcome back. We're picking where we left off last time in Victoria 3 is the Great Qing. As I said in the last part, we're basically this runs behind schedule. I think I swapped over to per capita a little bit too early. We're now in the part of the game where per capita makes sense. Just about makes sense. But that also means that we're up until now we've been on the law too early. Yeah. Okay, so we need glass. We need lots of glass. I'm estimating something like 6,000 glass we need. At 500 a thing, so that's 120 glass works. It's estimating some of these will be unprofitable. Well, to be fair, for some of the estimations here, it's estimating because of the lead price change, right? So we're going to have to build lead mines as we do this. And or swap over to importing lead. So as we produce the glass, try to import some lead. I suppose we just queued up that many. So it's like 120 glassworks we queued up, so we're going to need like 60 lead mines. Yeah. While that's going on, we are trying to catch up on some of our backwards technology, picking up electric generation over here, which will allow us to build power generation. Might actually want to go for electrical capacitors afterwards. Yeah, electrical capacitors and electric railways, so we can get electric engines. So we don't have to build quite as many engines to feed back into the power plant. And then into telephones. Telephones and radios. Got a new corporation. Actually, the military good cost one looks good here, so we'll do that. Again, if we can stack military good costs, that does lower effectively the upkeep of all the goods going into the military without cutting back the expenditure on those goods. You can get the math high enough, you can basically just support expansion of your economy by building industry. Or building military industry. So some of these glassworks come online, we should see the shortage for, well, and we already started to see the shortage go away. We're seeing the shortage slowly go away in the Qing market. I think you hit rank 1. I assume you're talking about the prestige rank? Yeah, to be fair, if we wanted to be rank 1, I believe all we need to do to hit rank 1 is click that button. Right now we're got minus 20% prestige. I think we're within 20% prestige of winning, or of being rank 1. Get the menu to go away. There we go. So 20% of 3,000. Yeah, that's about 600. So that, yeah, if we just raise the taxes or raise the government wages off of min, we'd be there. Okay, price of stonks is popping up. I forget which one stonks is. Oh, stonks is a certain number of companies with prosperity bonuses on. That makes sense. So, driving down the price of the glass, which at the moment is driving up the price of lead. That'll get fixed as the lead mines get built, which are behind the glass factories at the moment. And then we'll probably do a steel expansion, and then we'll probably try to electrify the nation. Yes, we got shortages in lead, but that's going to fix itself because we're probably already working on lead mines. Yeah, we're already starting to fix the lead mine problem. Oops, I pressed the wrong button there. Just backed it down. Can I load the autosave? Yeah. We want to accept that there will be a war, not accept the succession. And of course the British this time don't ask for it, because of course they don't. The game is weird sometimes. Said to go after Gaza. Okay, they RNG threw something else at them. Okay. So we're probably gonna use more glass, but the glass might not be expanding because we've got a lead shortage, which is being fixed. So we want to build some steel. Probably like 60 plants of steel. And then after that we want to start the electrification. So for that we're going to build power plants everywhere. In fact, I am surprised the civilian sector has built some already. Civilian sector's built some already. Let's not build what the civilian sector's building for the moment. So initially these are going to be unprofitable until we build up a demand for them. We might start intentionally building some demand for some of them in some places. But first we're going to electrify, and then we're going to see what the baseline iron and steel and stuff is going to be, right? Because each of these are costing like 10 engines. So for every 4 of these we have to build an engine factory right now. Okay, successfully driving down the price of lead, and immediately seeing that we still need more glass, which maybe isn't all that surprising, because probably as we're driving the... Probably haven't made enough glass works, because we're just losing trade volume. In exchange, yeah, so as we produce the glass, we're losing trade volume on the glass. think the GDP just raised 3 million 1 week. Give you an idea of how rapidly this economy is growing. No, it's probably mostly like glass and lead expansion. Seeing an opportunity to eventually just add more people to the growing empire. Members, taking a quick scroll through to see if there's any that I recognize that are in the power block but are not subjects. I'm thinking the answer is possibly no. Version I know is in. Okay. Because after we've got them in the power block for 5 years, we're gonna make them a subject. One manifesto that could probably just take the first option, will be fine. Look at luxuries. Nothing worth expanding the trade export volume, I suppose. Imports, yeah, more glass production is probably a good way to go for decreasing imports. Could support like another 60 glass mine, or glass works. And again, that will be like 30 lead mines that we can support. And yeah, we can see that the deficit, or money deficit from the most recent construction expansion is almost already gone again. And maybe actually be looking into doing a more industry expansion. looking around the tech tree to see what's completing. Alright, it looks like some of our power plants are starting to come online. Which initially will probably raise the deficit because we are subsidizing these. Cheap power for the masses. So we're going to start off with the electrical industry. Which, to be fair, in some of the Chinese states might just be enough to make them be profitable, right? Because Chinese demand in real large population centers is going to be enough, maybe, to support some significant number of power plants. Oh, as we can see in Zayan, as much as we want to support one per just for all population, apparently not. See, we've already queued up the glass, we're just waiting for it to build. It's behind the power plants. Here we go. Here's some good electrical text to focus on building electrical power plants for. Electric sewing machines. Oh, we got electric street lights as well for the urban centers, and electric sawmills for the logging camps. Wood's pretty suppressed, so we probably don't want to try to electrify that yet. What's the closing looking like? Clothing's not super suppressed, and it probably could tolerate being electrified. So what I'm going to do is we're basically going to go state by state, find where our electric sewing machine, or find how many electric sewing machines want to activate per state, and build that many power plants there. So here we got 17. So that means we want to build like 3 power plants here. South on Wii. Let me go to the smaller versions. No, I generally like the bigger version, but the smaller version is going to be quicker to scroll in. So 3 here. 3 there. Three there. We don't have a textile factory here, apparently. Okay. Fujian's gonna want 4. And as we get more and more and more electrical power in the country, the more everyone else is going to demand electrical power, which is one reason we have electrical power set to auto-expand. Shouju Ganji. 3 here. Beijing has no textile mills, okay. Nanjing has 17, so we're going to want 3 there. Shandong. I'm probably pronouncing a lot of these Chinese words wrong, but I'm doing my best. Yunnan. 2. Sichuan. None. Western Hubei. 2. Eastern Hubei. 2. Russian Guangdong. 1. Jiangsu. 1. Northern Anhui. 0. 1. One. Hebei. None. Southern Manchuria, none. We've been mainly putting the things like textile mills in place for unemployment, so it's a decent possibility that as we get down the list, we're going to just start skipping them pretty quickly. Nanjing, none. Gansu, none. Yunnan. Well, Yunnan, we can actually do it in Yunnan. Just swap right now. Kashmir as well, just swap. Where were we on the list? Kashmir. Pakistan? Nope. Mongolia? No. No. Yeah, that's the only one there, so we can swap it. Because we already, actually, we could if we swap if the electrical power plant here was already done, and it isn't, it's in the construction queue. Okay. To be fair, once we get unemployment solved, we're basically going to do the same with the railways in a lot of our states. So, okay, that hasn't been built there. I think we're getting good for the moment. And then we are presumably going to want more engines. Actually, surprisingly, don't need more engines. We'll still queue up another 20 factories, though. And then apparently we've got a rising demand for coal and glass. Well, glass is... well, no, we're already just working on glass. Coal is a little bit of a surprise. You want, like, 30 coal mines. So we'll just go fill a state up with coal mines. And let that integrate for a bit. And at some point, we're going to have to build more government admin by the looks of it, because we're starting to run low on bureaucracy. Oh, well, actually, we'll probably do telephones into central planning. Yeah, we can probably do central planning, because we've got advanced research 3. Wouldn't be too bad then. Ready to join our block? Yes. Civilizers mission, so we can now invade people for significantly less infamy generation. Well, the uncivilized people for less infamy generation. Which we may start contemplating taking advantage of. They turned up a green for whatever reason, even though we could do it. Okay, can't do it. Okay, we'll let the improved relations kick in a little bit with the guys we're improving with. Oh, and I suppose we can try to improve relations with our subjects. Make sure the subject approval is improving. Okay, we don't want government admin to be negative, so we're going to go ahead and just quickly queue up and build 10 government administrations. Which should quickly throw us positive again. Keep that tax revenue increasing, please. There we go. Yeah, so what is our imports looking like? Because we probably want to start expanding things we're importing that we can expand. So, for example, I'm not going to bother with the rubber, but it may make sense to expand the grain. Grain and glass apparently are the two big imports that we've got going. It's not much for the glass, it's about 300 for the glass. Whereas we are importing like 5,000 grain. And while maybe not the optimal thing to build from dealing with unemployment problem, it would increase the demand for various goods, which then we can then supply. Okay, we should soon be able to do that transition into sewing machines, electrified sewing machines. Brine electrolysis. We don't have the electricity yet in the grid to support that, I think. Nor do we necessarily need the explosives right now. Let's keep some coal. No, we already had some queued up. It'll be fine. And then, yeah, I think we're going to queue up a bunch of farms. So, for the farms, we're going to want to go... mostly rice farms, I believe. So we're going to want to do about 6 rice farms each. So we've got a shortage of about 12,000 grain. So we do 10 is 600. 100 is 6,000. So we want 200 rice farms. We're not going to search by unemployed because this is not going to get rid of any unemployed. We're going to search by peasants. And it is 200 rice farms, so I think we probably want to do... Well, we might actually do 50 a pop just to get the full economy of scale bonus. Okay, so that's the places that ended up with the farms. Let's build 3 railroads in each of them. Just to deal with the infrastructure issues that's going to cause. And then in 4 weeks, we'll electrify the entire sewing industry. And to be fair, building all those farms is going to reduce the number of subsistence platies, which is going to reduce the supply of other goods, driving up those prices, right? So it'll give us better clothes prices, better furniture prices for selling stuff. And we can then produce with factories that are not farms. Main subsidy is, well, was probably power plants. So you can see the drop off there from the power plants having a demand. Upgrade for gun factories. No reason not to switch to repeating rifles. And we had an upgrade also for the Arts Academy. Now we're getting into those rice farms, which build pretty quick because they only cost 200 construction each. Oops, I didn't respond to that quickly enough. We'll happily take a bunch of free money from the Egyptians, or from the French to help them fight the Egyptians. And yes, apparently mobilizing the army has made us far more profitable. The wonders of getting... we're not currently getting from here, but military goods cost decreases down. So we basically made a bunch more demand for military goods. And I suppose also from the farms being complete as well as helping. Looks like we're probably going to want a little bit more government bureaucracy. there's our electric railways. Which allows us to electrify some more stuff. Telephones should be next. So the big thing with the railways is electric engines, electric trains. So the thing we just did earlier in the thing to electrify the sewing machines, we're now going to go do with the railways. And maybe the engine makers as well. What's the engine demand right now? Not bad. We're probably actually going to oversupply engines if we electrify it all. Yeah, because it's going to double the number of engines produced. But granted, we're going to be building engine consumption into it, so we'll see. So I need... Where's the population tab again? This tab. Zhangji. You have 20 motor industries, which when they electrify, it's 30 each. That's 600 from the industry. And the railways are 10. Let's pull out the calculator. This is calculator time. Well, I say calculator, I'm using a phone for the calculating, but pull out a calculator. Alright, so 20 times 30 plus... So that's 10 each? Yeah, 10 each. Plus another 220 divided by 50, so 16, 17 power plants. Times 30 plus another 20 power plants, so that's another 200 divided by 50, about 16 more power plants here. And yeah, railways and power plant, or railways and motor industries are a little bit more prevalent throughout the country. Okay, another 15 there. $14 here. Seeing out of the corner of my eye the fact that we are beating the Russians up, which is always good to see. Motor industries, so that's about 150 from the motor industries, and another 160 from the railways. So about 6 more power plants here. About 6, maybe, let's go 7 here. Going through all these as quickly as I can. Another railways. So about 6 more here. To be fair, these aren't necessarily... These are going to help us not have to build more stuff, not necessarily make a bunch more GDP. Guangxi, we got 14 here. Of those, and 7 of those. So we want like 10 power plants here. Beijing. 4. And 15. Oops. So about 6 more here. Beijing. 13 motor industries here. Five railways. Makes us want to build 9 more power plants here. Four motor industries here. And 5 railways. So that's about 4 more power plants. Six railways, 5 motor industries. So that's actually going to be like 3 power plants for you, 1 power plant for you, so about 4 more power plants. Sichuan. 60 plus 80 divided by 3, so it's about 3. Or no, divided by 50, it's about 3. Western Hubei. So that's 8 times 30 plus another 60, so another 6 power plants here. Okay, and it's going to be 11 times 30 plus 60 divided by 50, so about 8 more here. And looking at, okay, we don't have, oh no, we have 4 motor industries here. 4 times 30. And we got railways everywhere, so there's going to be a railway everywhere. 30 more here. So 3 more power plants. And then we continue doing math. Well, that's a 30 because there's only 1 motor industry plus 30, so 1 power plant. Northern Anhui, 30 plus 7, so we'll do 2 here. And yeah, as we start to get lower and lower, they're going to go faster because most of the motor industries are going to be in places with large unemployment pools. 30 plus, yeah, 1 here. $30 plus, yeah, another 1 here. Okay. Gotta do the math back here again. 30 here, 100 here, so this is actually a big one with 3. It's like big in comparison to the ones we've recently done. 1 here, 3 here. Southern, Eastern, 1 motor industry. 2 railways, so it's only 1 power plant here. Eight. So this is actually one of the bigger ones. 8 times 30 plus 20. So 5 more power plants here. Gansu, that's 1. Yeah, 1 more. Yunnan. 1 plus basically 1. So we'll do 2 here. Qinzhou. 1 plus basically 2 there. Northern Manchuria has 1 industry, and okay, so we want to do like 3 here. And to be fair, once we've done this and we electrify all the railways, we're going to have infrastructure for days, so that's going to be great. 30... Okay, 2 here. Beijing. It's actually got 90, 100, so 2 more for the power plant. Kashmir has 1 plus 1, so we'll give it a power plant. Uzbekia has a basically 1 here. Inner Mongolia. We'll actually do 2 in Inner Mongolia. Doesn't have... We're probably at the point where we're not going to see any more of the motor industries. And we will electrify this one, because this one probably just has the power already. And that might be a thing that starts to happen more and more as we get down near the bottom here. Is we just have enough to electrify straight up. Nope, this one's probably going to want to. Northern Jin. No motor industries. Just go ahead and electrify this one. Qinghai has a railway, has a motor industry, so it's going to want one railway, 1 power plant. Where in this list? Qinghai, so Italy has, in fact, 2 motor industries. So that means it probably wants 2 power plants. You can probably go ahead and support the electrification right now. I'm surprised no one's promoting, but we'll see. Railway, motor industry, so it's going to want 1. Again, it's not actually using very much electricity right now, so we can go ahead and electrify the railway anyway. Right away. And then the motor industry we can follow up with later. In fact, the motor industry we might be able to get away with just electrifying here. Anyway. Yeah, see that if that works. Quetta. No motor industry. Does have a power plant, does have a railway. In fact, it's probably just good to electrify the railway as is. Tasmere Basin. Already has a power plant. Someone's surprised it has a motor industry. Go ahead and electrify it. Looks like the power is still balanced there. Electrify you. Altai. Probably has the power to electrify right away, so we'll just electrify it away. Yeah, I think on the last of these there's unlikely to be motor industry, and if there is, we'll just say electrify them. Oops. I want to electrify the railway, not the... Well, the power plant, sort of by definition, is electrified, I suppose. Alexa, Artosk. Surprisingly has a high number of railways. It does have enough power to, in theory, support those. Kamchatka. And Merv. Okay, so that's that construction. We'll let a couple weeks pass, and then we'll queue up something behind it so we know when... Well, something big behind it so we know when we're roughly done. Okay, grain imports have declined. Obviously, as we make more and more grain, should be producing quite a bit more grain now. In fact, I'm semi-surprised that we're not making even more. Are these rice farms filling up? No, they're struggling a little bit. Probably due to the oversaturation of fruit and such. Nope, that didn't help much. Could probably drag the price for fertilizer down a little bit. Oh, I suppose the poor infrastructure in some of these places is not helping. Get the variable grain out to market. I think that's what we're working on right now, construction-wise. Yeah. See how the grain market reacts to the completion of these railways. In theory, as it hires up, should see grain production expand here? Yeah. There was the infrastructure getting in the way, okay. Might still want to produce more grain. Zhangxi, are you hired all the way up? No. Unable to hire. So not due to unemployment, so it would actually probably have to be due to profitability. Unless we have an infrastructure problem again. Nope. Oh, of course, because as they filled up, they demanded a lot more. Fertilizer, so it's a fertilizer issue. Queue up some steel plants. Okay, based on the time I'm coming up where I should probably put a part break in. So let's see if I can get these power plants complete so we can swap over to the electrified engines and railways. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and we're going to press on to central planning so we can do the telephone switchboards to go with those telephones. To completely swap over to using telephones, we need 3,000 something telephones, plus the civilian sector is going to want some as well. And about 50 electrical industries. We'll do 50 different places because we're going to need them everywhere eventually. Whoops. Anyways, we want to get to like 197 there. Like so. Anyway, subsidies are probably rising due to having lots of power plants that currently aren't being used. Yeah. But don't worry, we're going to fix that soon as most of these are done. In fact, everywhere has a power plant, so I could just do this swap now and suffer the penalty in the meantime. So as I can do, swap and swap. Which I suppose is now kick the problem over to the railroad industry a bit. Yeah, also kicks it over the railway industry a bit. Nope, now we're in the green. Far more productive markets, I suppose. Stable supply of power, apparently. Okay, I'm looking at the time. This is where I'm going to go ahead and put the part break in. So if you're watching on YouTube, there may be another part up tomorrow. It depends on if I have free time to record another part. In my case, physically tomorrow. But these are being recorded as time is available, so there may not be a part tomorrow. If you're watching Twitch, this is where the stream is going to go and end. So I hope you've been enjoying. Again, I don't necessarily know when the next stream is going to be because it depends on when I have time to record the next part. So until then, I wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next stream, and bye for now.